Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. You know it. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I definitely did not anticipate doing another Jason Aldean video this morning. I figured, two's enough. I covered everything I need to say. And maybe a week down the road, more developments. I might do another video. I did not anticipate doing it, but honestly, I think this video will be the most important, the most relevant to me at least, and to some other people probably too, to a lot of my subscribers. Okay, let me say this. I've gotten about 1,000 views on the first video the day before yesterday, and I've gotten about almost 300 views on yesterday's video. And for the one with 1,000 views, I got 20 likes, which is abysmally low. And I knew that was going to happen. And on yesterday's video, I believe I've gotten, I don't know, I think it's 12, 13, 14 likes out of 300, which is very disappointingly low. I knew this was going to happen. And this is what I anticipated. I anticipated people that support Jason Aldean, people on the right, Republicans, were going to look up the name Jason Aldean. And I specifically put Jason Aldean's. I knew this was going to happen. I wanted this to happen. For the last 2 days, I've seen not just my views go up, but my revenue go up too. Whether people hate my video or like it, I still get paid for the views. That's just being honest with this. So the people that are like me, that think there's a problem with this song, and my biggest question in yesterday's video is asking why this courthouse? What are you trying to say? Which brings me to today's video, because there's a clip down below from Fox News, and they're discussing this. Judge Jeanine Pirro, I believe that's how you guys know I have a problem with names, and Jesse Waters and a couple other people are talking about this, and it made me think about the two. There's probably two distinct camps, really. There's going to be the people that support Jason Aldean, country music, vigilantism, that are against Black Lives Matter, Republicans, the far right, that are going to look up Jason Aldean's name. They're going to find my video. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to get the views. I'm not going to get a lot of likes. I'm going to get a lot of angry comments, but I'm going to get paid. Then there's going to be the people like me that want to know more about this story. Why this courthouse? Like I said in yesterday's video, why did you pick this courthouse? Because I honestly, until yesterday, I never heard of this courthouse. And people like me, I should have probably done this yesterday, is looking up the story of the man we're talking about, Henry Choate, 18-year-old black man that was lynched in front of this courthouse. So that's what I figured. I figured, there's going to be people on the left that are going to look up what happened, and people and this is simplifying it, and people on the right that are going to support Jason Aldean and look up Jason Aldean's name. So I took the time to look up this story. Let me go back to Judge Jeanine. She said something. When I hear somebody say something, if I watch it the first time, I think a lot of us are like this. When you watch something the first time, I'm not a big fan of Judge Jeanine. And when I watch something the first time, a lot of times I will unintentionally replace words with, what I think I'm hearing to what she's actually saying. So I rewatch the video, and I'm trying to understand exactly what her meaning is when she's saying this. Because she says, at first, she's saying she thinks that Jason Aldean picked this courthouse because the same thing that happened 100 years ago is happening today with Black Lives Matter, still breaking the law, burning and looting things. I think that's almost word for, because believe me, I watched this video about at least a dozen times, so I know her words almost by heart now. So when I first watched it, part of me always wants to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're being misunderstood. Now, I don't want to be somebody that calls somebody out just because she was misunderstood. So I was trying to understand what she was saying. Was she talking about vigilantism? The vigilantism back in 1927 when these people chased down this young boy, and the vigilantism of Black Lives Matter, being angry about George Floyd, the vigilantism of the song that he's talking. I'm trying to, because I really want to understand what her meaning is, what's going on in her head, and it really sounds to me like she's saying. She's painting the man that was lynched almost 100 years ago, is guilty. I think that's what I'm hearing. And as we all know, this is America, and you have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. That's going to become important in this video. Jesse Waters also says something. So basically, before I get into Jesse Waters, so she's basically saying that Jason Aldean is saying this, the same thing happened. This is what I think Judge Jeanine is saying, that 100 years ago, some black guy broke the law and paid for it. And the same thing is happening today with Black Lives Matter. And, him singing about people in small town aren't going to put up for this. If you come to our small town, this is what's going to happen to you. Yeah. The thing that bothers me, so many things bother me about this, but this boy was lynched before he was found guilty or innocent or anything. And that she's just condemning this boy. That bothers me. Jesse Waters is saying this. Jesse Waters says, whoa, wait a minute. He says literally, I think he says dozens of videos have been filmed in front of this courthouse. Now, I don't watch country music. I don't watch music videos in general, unless it's the last one I watched was Tekashi 6ix9ine, and he's no Jason Aldean, and he's not going to be filming in front of the Maury County Courthouse. And I looked this up, the Maury County Courthouse. So Jesse Waters says dozens or lots of videos have been filmed. So why are they picking on Jason Aldean? Well, that's kind of funny. Not funny, haha. But also in front of the same courthouse, Jesse Waters saying there's videos. Then there was over 20 lynchings in front of this courthouse too. So you could also say that. That's Jesse Waters' argument. There's lots of videos filmed in front of this courthouse. So why are you going off on Jason Aldean? There was also over a dozen lynchings in front of this courthouse. So that his argument is moot, is what I'm saying there. All right, let me tell you the story of Henry Cho. And as usual, one or two people call me out for this. I found that I have a similar story to tell, and I'll tell you that at the end. Is something that happened to me, being wrongly accused, and this is a 100% true story. But I'll tell you that at the end of the video. Okay, Henry Cho. This is from Wikipedia. The link will be right down below. 18-year-old boy working on road construction in Coffee County, Tennessee. It's about 7 or 8 miles away from this Maury County Courthouse, or from this town. And he went to visit his grandfather, 85-year-old Henry Clay Harlan, on Armistice Day. I didn't even know what Armistice Day really was. I wasn't sure. I didn't know if it had something. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not going to pretend to be smarter than I am. I didn't know if at first I thought it was the Civil War, because it says his grandfather was a freed slave, and I didn't know if it had something to do with the Civil War, but it doesn't. Armistice Day has to do with World War II. Anyway, he went to visit his grandfather a few miles away. Took a break from his road construction job on Armistice Day, and a 16-year-old white girl claimed she was assaulted by a black man, black boy, black man, black teenager. It doesn't say. So the sheriff Sam Wiley, it says here he had a pack of dogs, a pack of bloodhounds. He brought a pack of bloodhounds. It doesn't say he got them intentionally for this. It doesn't say that he used them to find this boy, that there's any evidence that led to this boy. It doesn't say that. It just said he brought a pack of bloodhounds. And they grabbed Henry Choate, 18 years old, and put him in jail. Now, the sheriff's wife, Mrs. Wiley, found out that a group of men numbering in the hundreds were going to come to the jail and bust him out and perform vigilante justice, lynch him. This is the sheriff's wife, and she told the Negro cook, the Negro County Jail cook, that this was going to happen. Her name was Ella Gant. Now, Ella went and told Henry Choate, look, these guys are coming. She bought him a pack of cigarettes, like, here's some smokes, and she told him he better pray. And he said he didn't pray. He knew what was coming, which was awfully brave of him. So the mob shows up at the jail door, and the sheriff's wife, Mrs. Wiley, locks it. So the sheriff's wife is trying. She says she won't see a innocent boy lynched on that day. So the sheriff's wife is saying she thinks he's innocent. She's not going to see an innocent boy lynched, or at least he's presumed innocent. And the people at the door start pounding with a hammer, and there's a threat of dynamite being used to blow the door off if she doesn't open the door. She relents and uses the key and opens the door. The crowd goes over and ends up killing Henry Choate with a hammer to the head. They then take him outside, if that wasn't enough, and they drag him through the town behind a car. I know there's a movie called Dragged on Concrete, and I haven't watched it yet. I have to watch that today because I'm assuming it. This has happened. Let's be honest. This has happened dozens, hundreds of times in America, in the South. So I don't know if it's specifically about this story, but they dragged him, already dead, behind the car. And then if that still wasn't enough, they hung his body in front of the courthouse. Pretty gruesome for somebody that's presumed innocent until proven guilty. And that's it. And then there's been you guys can see the links down below, at least 20 lynchings in front of this particular courthouse. And then in the state of Tennessee, from I believe it's from like 1880 to 1950, there was hundreds of lynchings in the state of Tennessee. The South definitely is a lot different than the North up here in Connecticut. I grew up, I've been in Connecticut resident my whole life, and this is some scary stuff to me. The reason it's scary, this just occurred to me this morning when I was reading about how scared this kid must have been in that cell, especially if he didn't do it. Like I said, I don't know. A lot of times this is what I thought. A lot of times 16-year-old girls lie. And I know this for a fact. And I'll tell you this right now. I used to drive a 1975 Dodge Charger. It looked like a Cordoba. It was maroon with a white top. And there was another guy in town, a year or two older than me. I was 18 years old when I had this car, same age as Henry Choate. And there was another guy, about 20. And he was a troublemaker. He was already getting a lot of trouble breaking and entering and stuff like that. And he had the exact same car, same color, same white top. Now, there was a family that lived not far from me with two girls, and the youngest son was one of my friends. And this girl was seeing the guy that had a similar car, and her family told her not, he's a troublemaker. They forbid him from seeing him. And I still am not sure, but for some reason she made up this story. I guess she was found with him or something, or somebody saw her with him. And she said that somebody in that car chased her down and chased her through the streets trying to abduct her. And so I don't know anything about this. And I'm driving this is right a half mile from my house. And I had started messing around with drugs by this time. And I had one joint. I remember I had one joint in my pocket. And I get pulled over by the police, Watertown Police, Watertown, Connecticut. And they throw me in the back of the cop car. And I'm an 18-year-old kid. I'm acting guilty. I think it has something to do with the joint in my pocket. So I said, what's this all about? And the cop in the front, I'm in the cage. And he says, I think you know what you did. And I see the family, the girl's family, with my buddy and everything, pull up in the car right next to the police car. And I'm like, hey, my buddy, his family. And I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on. And the father looks in the police window and he says, I'm going to freaking kill you, snap. I'm like, oh my God, what? I asked the cop, what is this about? And then they explain it, that somebody with my exact car, and she said it was me. Now, I know this was a lie because we partied in the same circles. And she told me this girl that lied, told me, laughed about it. She told me the whole story. We got in quite it wasn't a physical fight, but we got in quite an argument that night when I found out that she did this to me intentionally. And she thought it was funny, because she was going to get in trouble by her. This girl is still in my group of Facebook friends today. So this happened to me. And like I said, I acted guilty in the back of the car because I didn't know what was going on. I was an 18-year-old kid. And I'm not saying all 16-year-old girls lie. And this girl it's a bizarre coincidence because I was 18 years old when this happened, and she was a couple of years younger, 16 years old. So I know that young girls make up lies to get themselves out of trouble. That's a 100% true story. All right, there's the video for the day. I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to do another video later today, definitely. Have a good Friday.